Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Clumsy flying today. How's everyone doing? Glad you guys could join. Scotsman, very early, right on point. How's that diamond treating you? Hey Patrick. Patrick came just on time, like 8 o'clock on the dot. And Babao is here. How are you, man? Goodness, 3 a.m. there, right? Wow. Amazing. Well, thanks for making it. How are you guys? What have you been busy with these days? For me, particularly, I was actually planning on flying the DC-6 today, but I was just enjoying flying around yesterday, exploring Skypark again, and I found a very interesting new tour that they released. And it was pretty exciting when I tried it out. So I figured, why not do a stream with it, you know? Because it involves flying through Norwegian fjords. I think it's fjords. So we will be flying in Norway with this small but trusty plane, the Turbo Arrow. And the weather is not the best, based on what I've seen. So the weather forecast is not the best. I'm not even sure if we can see land with this kind of weather. But maybe this is not really a new thing over these parts. Let me show you actually. It's going to be pretty interesting. Alright, let's go with the weather forecast first. Ooh, what was that? There was like a weather report, yeah. Infa reaches typhoon strength as it nears the Miyako Islands. Sempaka becomes a typhoon. That sure looks like a typhoon. That might be what they're referring to. Look at that, guys. How cool is that? You can actually see the different strengths of the wind as it gets close to the center and then it dies down at the center there at the eye. You can see that's a 1 knot wind, but over the vicinity 23, 28, 39. And this is only at the surface. Oh, that's super cool. But yeah, that's not where we're flying, thankfully. We are going to the northwest over here. Yeah, this place. So in the northern edge of Norway. Kinda-ish. Right? And yeah, the winds are no pushover either. At the surface, 26 knots. And you can actually see the winds like slamming against the cliffs and then getting stopped by land, right? So it kind of dies down after it crosses the land through here. Very nice representation. But yes, we'll be flying over through these areas. And the clouds are not the best if you look at the coverage. Yeah, low clouds everywhere. Broken, overcast. Quite tricky. Let's load up sounding and let me show you why I'm a bit scared about this. So if I do a right click here in Honningsvåg, North Cap should be somewhere here, I think. Better sounding. You see, these ones are cloud layers on the left side. The darker the gray of the shade of gray is, the more intense. And it looks like we have clouds all over, so I'm not sure if we can even get to see anything. There might even be icing on the here. Hey Tom. Thanks for joining. Pretty calm winds here. Oh yeah, the shop being sharpened. That's true, that's true. Hey Jack, yar. How are you, man? How was your stream? Thank you for joining, for making it here. How do you actually even make one a mod? I don't even know how anymore. 1 second, let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. Once I'm able to find it, I will do so. I will add that sword in. Mod. Let's try it. Oh yeah, you're right. Sir Jack Spanner. Did it work? Hope so. Hopefully I didn't just mod some random guy. Yes. Yeah, we have plenty enough of winds to be tackling with here. You have to remove the VIP badge first. Oh, it cannot be both? Is it? Ah. Interesting. Let's add the mod icons in here. It worked. There we go. There we go. Oh my goodness. Run. So the first leg of this trip actually involves going to Honningsvag already. So cutting to the chase, and we'll see if, I'm not sure if Nordcap is modeled in the sim, but we'll see. But yes, as I mentioned, I'm not even sure if we can see anything outside. If needed, we will change weather just to see what's below, just to do a bit of sightseeing, and then we'll go back. So it's either going to be a very nice sightseeing tour, which I doubt, or it's going to be like an extreme weather kind of tour, which might be interesting, but might be scary at the same time. So we'll see. We will see. Let's go and load up. Let me show you what Skypark is saying. So this tour is thanks to Skypark. So we still have our world tour ongoing. We have a video actually coming out later on that. But to spice things up a bit, to change things up a bit, because I don't think we will be going through over these parts in the world tour. So just to see what's on the other side of the world, we have this Experience Norway Part 1. And I think if I go, yeah, this one. Hashtag Fjords. Once it hits type 8, it will go down to 105. Goodness. Yeah. So looking at the trajectory of that typhoon. Stay safe, everyone. But yeah, it's over during these times when you have lots of typhoons coming from the Pacific Ocean. So that's how the entire route looks like, and you can see a lot of different landmarks in there. Although North Cap doesn't seem like it's part of it, so I don't think that's in the sim, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see what we can get. So let's start off in this airport. Echo November Mike Hotel, if I can remember that at least. Okay, let's put that here. Lonely in the VIP club. Well, we can always remove it. Just kidding. Yeah, you're the only guy with a diamond left. Don't you feel special? Look at the winds here. 253, 37 kilometers per hour. If we add some layers in the wind effect for ground, zoom out, yes, 32 knots crosswind. Not even sure if you can take off at that level, because the max crosswind component for this plane I think is 17 knots. So not sure how that's going to work. Anyway, we will see. We will see soon enough. Almost at 400 hours, I know, right? Yeah, it's hard to resist. Should I remove it? You can try. Yeah, just to try things up. See if the sword works. Ban me if I don't want to play with you. Where? I'll play with you all day with Flight Sim. A-Warm. Judge you much, Tom? Yeah, look at the weather. Not the best. Not the best weather. It was definitely better yesterday. Yikes. Let's turn off track IR in the meantime. Let's compare how that looks in a clear day. Let's see. So normally it should look like let's get scattered. That, right? Looks very peaceful, looks very scenic. Right now it's like this. Let me show you a bit of inspiration why I decided to go on this trip today. Because this screenshot, I actually wasn't sure what to expect. It was a holiday here yesterday, so just flying around, looking for places to explore. Found this tour. I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And I found this magnificent area. This is actually what I posted in Discord as well. 1 second. It's loading up. Hey, Bunky. Very scenic. Yes, with nice weather. Not this one in particular, but close enough. So what actually inspired me to go on this tour was this way. This guy right here. So that was with live weather yesterday. It's like, how can you resist not flying through that, right? It's just like the airport before this one we landed in. So I said, let's do the tour. But yeah, looks like the weather turned since then. So now we have this. Yikes. Foggy weather hype, yeah, indeed. Oh, second shot. Nice. Congrats, man. Congrats. Make sure to give a bit of allowance. I heard the second shot can have a few more side effects. Take it easy the next couple of days, I think, would be a nice excuse. Yeah, look at that windsock all the way coming from the right. Yikes. Scary. Whew. About to be nighttime. It's actually, yeah, that's an interesting thing. It's actually 2 a.m. right now, guys, and we still have the sun. Talk about midnight sun, right? Let's go and check if there's even a proper evening during this time in this place. So let's see. 2 a.m. 1 a.m. No, it's just there. Oh my goodness, 12 a.m. It looks like this. And then let's try to move it forward, see how it will change. Sun is rising. It's fully up. 5 a.m. Yeah, it looks like any normal morning. And I love the graphics in this sim. It's amazing. 3 p.m. rather. Getting to evening, quote unquote evening. No, it never sets. It literally never sets. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. So yes, it's 2:14 a.m. in here right now. With that kind of weather. Yeah. Hey Storm. Greetings from Norway. Oh, nice. Which part of Norway are you from? My goodness, the weather here in the northern parts isn't the best. We can try to take off, but I might have to change the weather. I hope I won't need to though. Anyway, we can try. We can enjoy. Yeah, ask the guy from Norway exactly. Gonna take it easy. Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good plan. Alright, let's go through the checklist here. Make sure we're not missing anything before we try this crazy takeoff. Parking brake is set. Gears here is down. Avionics, I think, are off. Let's double check. It is a bit dark. Turn on the battery here. It's a night lighting. There you go. Oh, I don't have my custom cameras here because this is technically a different plane. This is the Turbo Arrow 4. The one I'm flying is the Turbo Arrow 3. So 1 second, huh? You just figure things out again. I think something like that could work. Yeah, that can probably work. Setting some custom cameras, guys. And then the other one can be like this. There is a bit of a delay in the keyboard whenever I'm streaming here. The input lag is huge. Yeah, I think that one can work. Yeah, So we have 1 and 2. Okay, great. All right. So avionics are indeed off. Yes, looks good. Mixture is lean. Magnetos are off. Yes, batteries are on already. Fuel quantities. Oh, does it load? Does it continue the state saving? It does. Interesting. So even if it's a Turbo Arrow 4, it's in the same state as the 3. That's interesting. Okay. Tromsø, it's up north. Ah. Yeah, in the summer it does not go down. So that is realistic what we've seen, huh? Very interesting. Alright, so we don't have the most even fuel, but we can make that work. So we'll be using the right tank later. Annunciator panel, they are lighting up. Batteries can go off again. Flight controls, let's double check. That is free. Is it correct? Right, left. Right, left. I have flaps extended apparently. Second notch, first, second, third. Good. Alright. Looking good. And the elevator trim is right in the middle. Perfect. Okay. That looks good. Okay. The oil quantities are also correct a while ago when I checked. Turn on the batteries again because I have to have a look at the circuit breakers. Everything is in. Alternate air is off. Okay, prop RPM lever is full RPM. And let's use the right fuel tank to start with to even it out. Good. Rudders also working perfectly fine. You can't see an option to take Diamond off, but banning looks so easy. you can time him out just to warm up. Test the sword if it works. Congrats again, man. Awesome stuff. Let's turn the beacons on. I think it's the... Yeah, the button layout is a bit different from the Arrow 3, huh? I think the anti-collision light is both the beacons and the strobes, is it? No, it's just the strobes. Ah, actually, there is no beacon. There's no beacon on display. On the Arrow 3, there's like a red bulb here, right at the top of the tail. Here. Interesting how that's different. Okay. But there is a beacon, I think. Oh, that's just light seeping out from inside. Okay. There is no beacon here. Let me see. Let me try the other ones. If I turn on this panel, I think this is still the nav lights. Yes, indeed. Those are the nav lights. That knob turns on the lights on both sides of the wing. And this one is just panel lighting, supposedly. Yeah, still no beacons. Okay. So anti-collision lights it is. Alright, that's fine. Good. You're a nice guy. In the winter, the sun is never up. The opposite way around, huh? Goodness. That must get very challenging, huh? Okay, looking good. Half travel, I think that's a typo. Should be 1/4 travel only. Alternator is off at the moment. Okay, let's turn on the primer. Full mixture. Hear the fuel pressure. See the fuel flow. Good. That should be enough to prime the engine. Looks good. Alright. Bro, clear prop. Doesn't want to. Okay, fine. Alright, let's start this up. There we go. Beautiful sounds. Engine RPM should start climbing up. Pull back on the throttle, keep it at 1500 RPM. Double check that we have oil pressure. We do. All temperature, still pretty cold. Fuel pressure. Everything looking good right there. Alright. So now we can turn on the alternator. Charge those batteries. That battery. Get some panel lighting in here as well. Good. Taxiing, landing light. Turn that on, it's a bit dark. Avionics can go on. He really timed him out. Oh my goodness. What a power trip. Turn on DME equipment. Let's even turn on the GPS in here because we might need that. Just to double check, you can see some nice stats here. Look at this. Winds 2903 at 16 knots. Headwind is 60. That one I'm not sure is accurate. Alright, so 2903, it's coming from the west, right? Northwest, more or less. So we should be taking a northern takeoff. We should be doing a northern takeoff, like a 350 or something like that would be closer. But it is pretty much a crosswind. But alright. Let's have a look. Is there weather here? We have a weather station here. Not really. So we're not sure what the pressure is. No, we do. No, we don't. Closest was in 9 or 9 or 8. Let's put that in. QNH 9 or 9 or 8. My goodness, that is such a low pressure. 9 or 9 or 8. Should be somewhere there. And the elevation of this airport is 42 feet. So that should be somewhere 9 or 9 or 8. Should be somewhere there. And not exact. Let's align it with the airport elevation like that. Looks good. Better late than never indeed. Hey Buffalo, thank you for following. Welcome to the channel. We're enjoying the stream. And wish us luck. We'll need it. Alright. Let's do the different things first. Avionics radios. Yes, the radios. So let me share you the flight plan. We're going from Echo November Mike Hotel Meham. Sorry for the pronunciation, guys. I know nothing about these places. That's where we are. Yeah, to Valan, which is in Honningsvag. And in North Cap should be, I think, somewhere either there or there. One of those edges. Yeah, but first we go to the airport. And then, if we manage to arrive safely, then we can think about turning the weather off, doing a bit of sightseeing tour, and then turning back the weather on, just to keep it as realistic as possible. Now, at the same time, we do have an interesting thing going on here in Honningsvag, in Valan, because the approach is quite different. So you can see that the runway is 08 and 26. But look at this weird thing. The localizer is completely off. I was actually initially thinking it was a bug, wrong nav data, because why would the localizer be that way? But you can imagine why, because there are cliffs here, right? So you can't really approach on a straight path. So what it does is it has an offset localizer on here, so that you approach in the middle, in between those cliffs, in between those fjords. And then when you're close, you just do a circle to land. When you're close to the airport, then you go to the runway that you're going to land at. That's basically how it acts. Very different. And Navigraph seems to corroborate with that. So yes, the localizer approach has that heading, 203 degree heading. But the runway, if you look at the airport, is indeed 08 and 26. So the localizer is coming from the northeast, going that way. Yeah, and then circle. So you look at the approach. There's actually no straight in approach. It only says circle to land here. Because yeah, if you go straight in, there is no runway. You really have to circle around the airport to land. And you have a very high MDA, minimum descent altitude. That means we have to stay at 1,230 until we find the runway. Otherwise, we'll have to go around. And in this case, it's more than likely we'll have to go around. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll try with live weather first, and if it doesn't work, then we will think of some other creative means. Right, so let's plug in the frequencies in here. 108.1 would be that localizer, that offset localizer. Of course, we wouldn't be capturing it yet. We also have an NDB to track the airport. So let's go. ADF would be 308.5. 308. Well, we don't have the decimal here, but I hope that will be enough. 308. Let's see if that will change the needle here when we get closer. Alright. One step at a time, right? But yes, we'll be headed westbound. Just set this to 270 maybe, something like that. Just so we know the general direction of where we should be headed to. Hey, Hobby. Thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. Scotsman didn't even talk anymore. Is he still here? I think he got timed out permanently. Alright, looking good. Let's see. Transponders, let's set that. Radios, altimeters, yes, looking good. Heading. Taxi area as clear as can be, except this guy won't go away. So let's release the parking brake. Start moving. Immediately, let's check the brakes if they're working. They are. That's perfect. And let's go in taxi. Taxi to the runway. We should be pretty close by. And while we're doing that, we'll be checking our gauges, turnkey coordinator, the heading, compass, everything is working. Looks good so far. Alright, 35 and 17 would be the runways. And the winds are coming from 294 at 16 knots. Let's have a look at the windsock. We saw the windsock a while ago. It was pretty scary. Yeah, that one. Yes, okay. We have our strobes on, we have everything on. Outside air temperature is around, oh that's pretty dark, but that's around, I don't know, around 5 degrees maybe. So let's turn on the Tito heat as well, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, we might have icing conditions here, guys. You know what? 1 second. Since the wind is facing this way, this is perfect time to do the run-up as well. Maybe ideal before I step into the runway, huh? Don't think anyone's going to be using it anytime soon. Alright, so let's do the run-up for now. Warm things up. Too busy in Amsterdam. Yeah, I think he went training. I don't think he even knew he was timed out. He went back to Amsterdam immediately. He was too busy. Alright, parking brake is set. Mixture is full. Prop leveler is full forward as well. 2000 RPM. There we go. Right. Now we'll check the magnetos. So what I'll do is I'll hide the yoke from both to left. We see that drop in the RPM. Pretty good drop, around 100. Go back to both. Get back to 2000 RPM. Good. This time check the right one. Looks like a similar drop. Switch between left and right, sorry about that. Yeah. Looks good. Go back to both, get back to 2000 RPM. Nice. Magnetos look good. That vacuum gauge is 4.9. Perfect. Oil pressure is good in the green. Oil temperature hotter than usual because we are revving up the engine. Ammeter is working. Annunciators, test that. All lights are working. Propeller, let's go and check if that's following. Exercise that. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. The suspense is real. We're not even sure if we can take off in this kind of weather. But yeah, for a crosswind takeoff, ideally, we'd want full deflection to the left. As we start moving, we will lessen that deflection, that aileron deflection. 1 more, and then we should be good. Okay, it does take a while to get back to 2000, huh? Awesome. Alright. So propeller looks good. Alternate air is still off. Yes. Aux boost pump is off as well. Fuel pressure is good. Engine idle now. Move to throttle, idle throttle. That should fall to around 700 PM. Hey Jamnik, welcome back, man. How's it going? That's a very high idle. Interesting. I haven't seen it that high before. Wonder what's different. Maybe the weather. Alright, hopefully that's fine. Let's stay at 1200 RPM here. Alright. Battery is on. Alternator is on. Strobes are on. Landing lights on. Aux boost pump, that needs to be on low actually. Okay, we can hear it. Engine gauges are checked. Mixture rich. Prop lever. Max RPM. Flaps. We need flaps? No, we should be okay. I hope. Trims are in the middle. Cabin door closed in latch. Okay, good. Ready for takeoff. Let's go ahead and taxi. Line ourselves up. Yeah, there's the windsock still fully working. Fully active. Fully extended. However you want to call it. Did I release the parking brake already? I did, didn't I? There you go. Maybe it's because of the winds. Because we're literally fighting against the wind this way. Doing good, Jamnik, doing good. Enjoying the flights. Just enjoying the flights all throughout. My goodness. What have you been busy with these days? Super excited for next week. By next week, guys, we should be getting that massive Microsoft Flight Simulator update with the performance. And that's also going to be the Xbox Series S and Series X release. So we should get a lot more new people coming into the flight sim community, which is a great thing overall. Many of them will be casual folks, will be enjoying the sightseeing. Some of them will probably become hardcore simmers. But yes, great move for the flight sim community overall, getting more people in. Alright, let's see how this works. So ideally, I think that's full deflection to the left like this, and then as I move, that deflection goes more and more like that. I try to keep center line, and eventually that will require a huge amount of is it going to be right rudder or left rudder, I think, for me. Yeah, I always get confused, but I just kind of feel it out. But yes, we'll see. Hopefully that's enough to keep us on the runway at least. Right? Looking good. 40 inches of manifold pressure. Alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Right rudder it is. Left aileron, right rudder. There it is. That's a huge amount of right rudder. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's a huge amount of right rudder. Alright, but yes, we are keeping more or less center line. Positive rate. Tap the brakes. Gear up. Okay, off we go. Look at how uncoordinated the flight is, guys. Look at the ball where it is. All the way to the left there because I have full right rudder. Going to start releasing that soon. The ball should be straight in the middle. There it is. IMC here. Full on IMC, just going to continue climbing. Go back to 33 inches. 1,000 feet. Turning off the boost pump and the landing lights. You know what? Landing lights, let's keep on. Sounds scary. Looks scary outside. Let's lower the RPM. 450. Looks good. Not really. Yeah. Oh, there's the sun. Hopefully a cliff doesn't immediately start welcoming us. But we'll be climbing to 2,000 feet here. And then we'll turn to the left. But yes, what I'm scared of right now is the icing. Let's turn on the pitot heat. Make sure the airspeed won't ice up. Because if the pitot tube ices up, we will lose indication of any airspeed. And that's going to be pretty dangerous. Right, 2,000 feet. That should be good enough for this leg, I think, I hope. You know what, let's continue climbing to 3,000 maybe. The problem is the higher we go, the more chances of getting icing. So we'll have to observe that very well. 100 knots. Climb is going well. I didn't start the timer though. Let's start the timer. So I have to switch tanks manually. Got this plane instead of X plane. You can still get it. Xbox Game Pass, I think, is $1 for the first month. Fix the rudder and ground physics. Yes, yes. That thing is still a bit wobbly. They acknowledge that and they'll continue refining it, but yes, at this point, it's still a bit of a question mark. Especially for crosswind landings and takeoffs, it's not the best feeling yet. That point when you lift off or almost lift off from the ground, it's not ideal yet. Alright, 3,000. There we go. Let's trust that the elevation data I've seen in the map is good enough, because now I'm going to be moving to the west. And we'll see how it goes. Full IMC. Can even go like this, right? There's not much use looking outside right now. Will just serve to confuse us. Looking good. There you go. Alright. So let's go to 2200 RPM. Let's make sure we're flying level here. There you go. Trim it out. Alright. I see something below. That's a good-ish sign. As long as it's not something in front of me, I'm happy with that. And then we can lean the mixture so that we get that peak EGT. There it is, EGT needle climbing, EGT. There's the peak. That's for the best fuel economy. Okay, good. How's our fuel? Let's double check. Fuel is, yes, still right tank. Okay, good. Later on, as we get closer, I'm hoping that VOR1 comes alive. That's the localizer we tuned in, 108.1. We'll see if that really is a thing, if that is accurate enough. Let's have a look at the winds that are hammering against us. Winds are 309, that's right in front of us, I believe. Yes, to the right, 21 knots, yes. So coming from our right, around 1, 2 o'clock, 29 knots, slowing us down. Yikes. Outside air temperature, it's a bit hard to see, it's around 0. No worries, man, no worries, Jack, yes. Glad you even made it to the stream, man. Rest well. Get your eyes healed up. Summer, huh? Have a good one, man. Stay safe. Okay. And then now, just keep it settled in here. So actually, if you have wind coming from the right, then we are probably, most likely, crabbing to the right as well. So we are facing the right, but we are headed that way. So even though we're facing at 270 here, the heading is 270, our track, the actual way where we're going, is probably somewhere around this point. And we can actually verify that using this GPS 100. Let's see. One sec, let me see. Yeah, the track is 268. Actually, it's not bad. It's not so bad. Only a few degrees off. Okay, it's not as bad as I was thinking. But our ground speed is 120 knots. Because of all that wind pushing against us. Yeah, not the best weather for flying, definitely. It looks like we'll have to change that eventually. Otherwise, we won't really see anything outside for the entire stream. Not the best when it comes to a sightseeing tour. But a little bit of excitement shouldn't be that bad. A little bit of extreme weather flying I guess you could say. $44 is a bit steep though. Yeah, it is quite expensive for a GA plane, but for me it's more than worth it. If I'm flying GA, I automatically go to this plane now. The Turbo Arrow, I think, is the best bang for the buck. So the simulation elements, they really modeled it well. I remember they offered me a copy before. Actually, I think I got a copy, like a review copy, so I tested it out. But then I paid for it as well when it came out because I wanted to support them, because I was so happy with how the plane turned out. So I wanted to buy for my own. Hey, Jesse! Been a while, man. How are you feeling? Saw that you got sick. Delayed your going home. Thanks for the reason, man. GG. Hey, Panda! How's it going? How are things there? Was it a holiday for you guys as well yesterday? In some places it was a holiday, particularly with a lot of the Muslim community. Tired of the 172, yeah. Definitely a lot more performance in this plane and a lot more things to simulate, a lot more things to fiddle around with, more buttons. I think they literally call this a complex airplane, right? Oh, there we go, localizer came alive. That's nice. We are 26 miles away from Honningsvag. That's a good sign. Stay at 3,000 feet, please. It's a complex airplane because it has there are certain criteria how they would call it a complex plane, but I think part of it is having a fixed pitch propeller, yeah, having a propeller lever there, and some other things. I think a retractable landing gear as well. Those two are the main things. That adds a lot more interesting things to the mix. Undergoing a cold. Should have been on a plane heading home. Ah, I see. Get well soon, man. Get well soon. Hope it's nothing serious. Get some rest. We'll be home soon enough. Back to trucking. Hopefully not back to getting those stutters. We will see. Oh my goodness, is that hail? Is that snow? You can actually see the volumetric lighting from the landing lights. If I turn off my landing lights, yeah, so the lights are reflecting off the clouds. Very nice look. Very scary though. My goodness. I don't think this might not be legal, huh? Yeah, look at the temperature outside. 0 degrees. Keeping a close eye on icing. Oh, actually, in terms of icing, I saw there was an update about icing. I think there's now like the cabin heater. Just don't know which switch that is, but it prevents windshield icing. That might help us if worst comes to worst. We can test that out if it works. So we'll see. We will see. Let's get back to the west here. There you go. Let me get the help of our autopilot friend here. Keep wings level. Remove some of the workload from my end. Heading on. It's good, keep it that way. Altitude, we're still controlling our own. We leave next Tuesday instead. Look, man, flying through the fog of doom. I know, right? I know, right? We'll see, Jesse. Good luck, man. Hoping for a speedy recovery. You want to see whether the Fokker is going light before we pull the trigger on the Piper. Oh yeah, that's a very promising plane as well. Might be a very different one though. Might be a very different one depending on what you're looking for. $44 per 100 hours of flight is 44 cents an hour of fun. Yeah. Yes. I'm definitely flying hundreds of hours here in this plane. With our world tour incoming. Speaking of world tour, there should be an episode coming out later. There should be an episode coming out today for our world tour. Crossing over to Thailand from Malaysia. So this localizer actually has a 203 course. So let's set that up. 203 is somewhere here, right? It's 200 probably. 1, 2, 3. Let me double check that. If we go and look at Navigraph, that is indeed 203. So we are coming here from the east, from the northeast. MSA from the NDB is 2,500. So we are on the safe altitude. We are at 4,000. That's fine. Let me see. NDB 308.5. We are tracking the NDB already. So the airport is that way to the west. That's a good sign. We're at 3,000 feet. Sorry, my bad. 3,000 feet, not 4,000. Looking good. Although it does say here, even though there is an MSA of 2.5, it looks like there's a different altitude on this end. Like, from what I see, if you're coming to the northeast of this waypoint, Hotel Victor 402, should be at 4,000 feet. Tricky. Oh, that's okay. We'll see. It's a localizer anyway. So let me see. We should have some altitudes in relation to the distance away from the localizer. 9.3 should be at 2,500. At 5.2 DME should be at 1,800. That should give us a bit of a nice picture. But then we stop at 1,230 feet to check that we are not that we have visibility of the airport before we land, before we can continue further. Double checking our fuel here, looking good. Still consuming from the right fuel tank, but it looks like it's getting even with the left one now. So that's just perfect. When the 15-minute marker hits, you can switch tanks most probably. Okay, you can see the NDB all starting to move more to the left. As we get closer, as this goes to the 270, I imagine, or actually, you know what? Now let's align this one with the heading. As this gets closer to that course we set, the 203 course, then that would signify that we should be starting our turn soon. Something like that. Actually, it's getting pretty close. If I use the autopilot to tune into the localizer like that one, would it do something interesting? Would it do something correctly? Okay, it's turning. It's turning to track the localizer. That's good. Need to pull up though. So at least we have some automation. We'll see. Maybe we can see the approach lights later on. Winds at 1x flag, probably not going to be good. Hey Adventure, good morning. Not using a lot of mods today except for Turbo Arrow. Well, we are using Skypark for the tour mainly. Yes, this tour is care of Skypark. The fjords supposedly should look amazing, but the weather doesn't seem to agree right now. 4 months worth of PC updates. To be honest, I'm not sure it will help much. You will always have those stutters, especially with the game that you're playing. Might be better to set expectations. It will not make everything look fine and dandy, but it might improve a bit. I know, right, Jamnik? does sound. Looks pretty scary. Hey Spectre, thanks man. That's great to hear. Improving bit by bit. It's great to hear. 15 minutes, there we go, okay. Fuel pump to low. Let's double check. Yeah, we can switch tanks. Move to the left tank. Double check that there is no sputtering, no engine cuffing sound. Fuel pressure, fuel flow, all good. Alright. Turn off the fuel pump. 14 miles away from the localizer. Let's double check that chart. 9.3, we should be at 2,500. Okay, that's fine. And then we descend to 1,800 by 5.2 DME. And then we continue descending in hope that there is something, that we can see something. At least. We'll see. We'll see. Set weather 0. We can actually. Yes, we can. So what we'll do is we can try to do this approach using live weather. You know, do it the proper way. You can see the localizer coming up soon. Yeah, the plane is starting to turn into the localizer. So we'll try to do this a proper way. But if it really doesn't work, if we can't see the airport, even if we've descended to the minimum descent altitude, 1,230 feet, then we'll just go with the preset weather, you know, just so we can land and do some sightseeing. Because this kind of extreme flying is fun, but having this for like 3 hours, I think might be a bit exhausting. Yes, the stutters, that's true. How are you doing, Spectre? Thank you for the compliment. Once hit a mountain in Alaska flying in weather like this in the 787 when the sim first came out. Yeah, it's a very common thing. It's a very common thing because you need to make use of your terrain radar if it exists for the plane. Right? You have to plan the flight plan well enough. You have to look at the third-party tools to make sure that everything is as is. Everything is safe and dandy. And for me, I have complete confidence right now, at least with the altitude I'm at, because I'm reading the charts and the charts are saying you have to be at this altitude, and I'm trusting the charts basically. Starting our descent here to 2,500 feet by 9.3 DME. Should be good. We're at 9.7 at the moment. How are the winds? The winds are 308 at 29 knots. Yikes, my goodness. So it's a runway 26 landing for sure. But first we have to spot the runway. Right, first we have to spot the runway. Let me have a look at the missed approach procedure. Okay, let's start our descent further to 1,800 feet. And then we'll stay there. Look at how much we're crabbing, guys. I have the autopilot on, and we are tracking 203, but we're facing around 210 degrees. So we're crabbing like that, facing the right, but moving that way. Beautiful. Alright, so missed approach procedure, climb on track 203 to 2,500. At 2,500 feet, turn right, direct to Helnes, NDB, and enter holding at 4,000. Okay. No turn before missed approach point. Point? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Still no sign of the runway. It's a bad sign, guys. A bad sign. 5.2 DME. We should be at 1,800 feet. Hey, Epsilon. Thank you for following. Appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Hang tight. Please fasten seatbelts, everybody. It's going to get pretty rough. Alright, let's go and set up. Let's hope that it's working. Let me pull back on the throttle here and pitch up a bit so we can have enough speed to extend the landing gear. Turn off the automatic gear extension thing. Okay, that's below 130 knots. Landing gear going down. right? 1800. Let's continue descending. Goodness, absolutely zero visibility. All the way until 1230 we can descend. And from there, we have to stop descending and we have to get a visual on where the airport is. So the airport should be like that, how it looks, like horizontal from where we are coming from. It's not going to be right in front of us. 1, 2, maybe stick there, 1, 3, should be okay. Okay, stop descending there. Not seeing the airport, guys. Not seeing the airport. Missed approach point is 1.2 DME. We're getting pretty close, not seeing anything. Yeah, we'll have to go around probably. And we'll have to change the weather most likely. Because this, yeah, this is not going to work. 203 track. 2.5. Yeah. Winds still coming from our right at the back there. You can see the winds, right? The streaks of the snow and the rain coming from that side. It's a very nice simulation though, isn't it? My goodness. 1.8 DME. 1.2, still haven't seen anything. Yeah, that's not working. It's not working. Let's turn off autopilot in here. Alright. Go to maximum throttle. Positive rate. Tap the brakes. Then we need to gear up. We don't have any flap set. Okay, that's good. So climb to 2,500, the procedure said. And then hold at the NDB. The NDB, which is where this is pointing to. So yeah, it's not going to be a weather where we can land at this airport, but we need to land in order for the tour to detect that we can go to the next leg for Skypark to detect. So we'll have to change the weather. It was fun though, wasn't it? It's a fun. Oh, there we go. We are starting to see a bit of land there. 2,500, and we turn right towards the NDB. You can see we just passed the NDB there, starting to point to the back. That's where we're headed. So once we get to 2,500 here, alright, there we go. Start our right turn towards the NDB, and then we'll hold there. Didn't have Navigraph at the time, so we're just following the FMC. Yeah, and the FMC will not guide you well, right? And not even the ATC will guide you well in this sim yet. Yes, but Navigraph is such a great investment, isn't it? Like the immersion levels just like shoot through the roof once you get it. Initially, I was trying to. I was not very enthusiastic about it. Whoa, the winds kicking me out. Okay. Continue climbing to 4,000 feet, and then we'll change the weather once we're stable. Okay, just looking at my instruments here, we have hit a huge updraft, it looks like. Push forward, we're losing airspeed. Now we are hitting that downdraft. Okay, looking good. Continuing that turn. Just following a coordinated turn here, a standard rate of turn. So we're not overstressing the plane. 4,000 feet, coming up on 4,000 feet. There you go. Pull back on the throttle. Actually, I should have fixed my mixture and props. Something, because I didn't go through my checklist. That's bad. That is a bad move. I should have maxed out my propeller RPM. That's why you go through the checklist each time, because you forget stuff. Okay, 4,000. Don't bank that hard. Okay, we just passed the NDB. You can see some icing happening as well, occurring, right? And some pretty strong winds in here, getting blown up and down like a roller coaster. Oh my goodness. Now I wanted to test something. 1 second, So as we're at 4,000 feet now, let me make sure that we're facing to the north. 1 second guys, I'll be with you in a bit. How do you engage autopilot on basic settings? Hey Tiki Man, on this plane specifically, or are you asking in general? What do you mean by basic settings? Welcome to the stream, by the way. Hey Agility, thank you guys for joining. Sorry guys, just a bit stressful situation at the moment, but I'll get back to you in a jiffy. Give me a few seconds. Alright, let's face to the north just so it's safe, away from any possible cliffs that we might hit. I don't think there's any cliff that reaches 4,000, but just to be on the safe side. Icing looking scary, I know, right? I wanted to test something because there is an update for the Turbo Arrow recently, which mentioned something about cabin heat preventing windshield ice. And I wanted to try it out. I wanted to find it. Okay, so let's go and turn that off. Autopilot on. Okay, wings level at this point. Let's change the heading. North, heading on. Okay, so that the plane will follow a north 360 heading. Good. Alright, so once it does that, we can fiddle around with the cabin heat settings. Let's see. Is it this one? Does anyone know where it is? It is this one. Is it this fan? Let me see. Oil cooler, that might not be it, huh? What the fan? Can I even actually hear a fan going? It's nice. No, I don't think that's changing anything of this heat though. Don't think that's changing anything. How about the alternate air? Alternate airs for the engine, not really cabin heat. Welcome back, Scotsman. Did you know that you got timed out by Jack? Kind of bullied you a bit. Yeah, it might be this one, but I'm not sure to be honest. Yeah, nothing's happening. Well, I have to look into it because they did say that cabin heat now prevents windshield icing. But I'm not sure which button that is. Okay, let's change the weather. We've had fun with extreme weather here. Let's go to scattered for nice sightseeing. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and voila. And voila. Okay. Get back please, thank you. The ice should start to thin out soon enough. Hopefully. Climb out and scrape the ice off. A-frame. Let's have a look. Maybe. Depends on what the outside air temperature is. It is around 10 degrees. So it might actually just, yeah, it's thinning out on its own, looks like. Man, that is beautiful. That's why I wanted to go northbound, so away from the cliffs. Because the cliffs are all around there. Right, so let's do that approach again. This time with nice visuals. And let's see how different it feels. Who timed you out? Who else? Not me. Someone with a sword maybe. But I'm not telling who. Okay. Looks good. 30 minutes is coming up though. Yeah, might be time to switch anyway. Alright, let's go and make our turn to the left. It feels night and day, right, with this one. Oh, and we have to change altimeter settings. 1013. There you go. Because very different pressure settings now with the different weather. So we're actually at 4,000 feet. Wow, that's a very different altitude. Okay, good. Now we can follow the localizer using this autopilot. We kind of blew past it, but the autopilot will go back to it, no problem. 203. And we'll try a proper circle to land in that case. I think it's a... what's the runway? 26, was it? Something like that, probably. Man, that is beautiful. Alright. Pull back on the throttle, start our descent. Oh, we are actually pretty late with the descent here. Look at that, we are 7 miles away. We should be at 2,000, around 2,000 feet by now. So we have a lot of altitude to lose. No problem, we can make that work. Onyx Fag, where are you? North Cap should be somewhere there, I believe. Might be one of those. Hey Pedro, thanks for joining. We should have an Amazon Gear thing in the panels below. That should have all my parts, but if you're wondering about a specific thing, let me know. I can try and help out. Oh my goodness, this is why I love the scattered preset. Perfect for taking photos, sightseeing, and just... ah, look at that view. My goodness. Alright, let's focus. Focus. Alright, continuing our descent. What are we? 4.8. We should be at around 1,600 maybe, but we're catching up, we're catching up. Pulling back on the throttle a bit more. Sure thing, Pedro. We'll watch the VOD then. Yes. Oh, I see it. See the approach lights from the airport? There it is. But yeah, you can see the runway is that way. So we're not doing a straight in here. But yeah, that looks good. Right, so let's turn off the autopilot from here. Let's do this on our own. Pulling back on the throttle. 130 knots. Gear down. Let's also switch tanks. Do we need to switch tanks? Yes, we do. Okay. Boost pump to low. Move to the right fuel tank. The fullest tank for landing. Alright, let's line up here for runway 26. Back, pull back. Circle to land, runway 26. There we go. That's the speed we want. We are now well within the safe flap extension speed. So let's go one notch. Let's go 2 notches. So now let's do the gumps check. Gas, fullest tank, undercarriage. We have landing gear, 3 greens. Flaps extended, mixture full. Propeller full. Switches. Landing lights on. Gumps check complete. Alright, good. Now let's land this thing. Weather is looking great. This is the kind of weather we want for sightseeing, right? That looks good. Runway 26. That looks good right there. Okay. Now I'm not sure, is there a tack? Is there a gate? Yes, there's a ramp. Okay. So we turn off from to the left there after we land. We have approach lights. Runway 26, that's good. We are a bit high. That's okay. Let's trim it out, trim it out. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. By the way guys, I announced it in Discord. But yeah, I'm announcing it here as well. I am starting to think about bridging the gap between the two simulators, Truck Sim and Flight Sim. So if you know of any routes that are good for that kind of thing. Oh, we're a bit high. Going one more notch of flaps here. Doing a bit of forward slip. 1 second guys, let me just focus on the landing. There you go. Back. Alright. There we go. I'll take it. Phew. Not the most stable approach, but we'll manage. So yes, I'm starting to do starting to think about a cross sim logistics kind of thing. taking one job from truck sim to a place and then picking it up in flight sim, or vice versa. So if you have any routes that you know would be interesting, let me know. Share it in Discord and I'd love to try it out. Landing lights, boost pump going off. Turn on. I will open the window. It's a comfortable 18 degrees here. Probably not realistic right now, huh? But we'll take it. Okay, let's stop right here and go for a bit of sightseeing in the meantime. Parking brake. Let's just leave that in idle maybe. Looking good there. Alright. Welcome to Honningsvag, the gateway to North Cap, I think. North Cape, from what I've been hearing. Lots of jobs in ETS2 which go to the airport. Yeah, that's a good starting point. Which airports do we have in Truck Sim at the moment? We have plenty, right? Like Denver, we have... do we have SeaTac as well? Seattle, Tacoma. My goodness. And this is all default airports, guys. This is default scenery. No mods for scenery here at all. No graphics mods whatsoever. This sim. Amazing. Can hear the winds. Oh, that's so relaxing. My goodness. Cool. Okay. So next up, which airport is next? Let's go and plan it. Let's go and leave this for a nice site as a background. Let's go and check out the Skypark app here. Next job is going to Enna. From Balan to Enna. But I want to see really the North Cape here. 1 second. Let me load up Bush Talk Radio, see if we can find something. Maybe we can fly over this area just a bit. Going to see if it's something that is in the sim. North Cape is here in Bush Talk Radio, but I don't think it's in the sim. Oh man, that's a bad move. They should have put it in. Okay. Well, let's log into Bush Talk Radio so we get some nice tours. Hey, thank you for following. Hey, Kurti. Thanks for joining, man. Let's go and log in. Still getting that input lag. Very weird whenever I stream. Okay. There we go. Hey, Gani.
Nordkapp is a municipality in Troms og Finnmark County, Norway. The administrative centre of the municipality is the town of Honningsvag, where most residents live. Other settlements in Nordkapp include the villages of Kjusva, Kafjord, Kamoiva, Kjelvik, Nordvigen, Rikvag, Skarsvag, and Vallen. The 926 square kilometre municipality is the 127th largest by area out of the 356 municipalities in Norway.
Yeah, he had allergies.
Is the 224th most populous municipality in Norway with a population of 3,162. The municipality's population density is 3.5 inhabitants per square kilometre and its population has decreased by 0.7% over the previous 10-year period. Some 200,000 tourists visit Nordkapp annually during the 2 to 3 months of summer. The main tourist attractions are the North Cape and the nearby Kniveskjellodden. The North Cape first became famous when the English explorer Richard Chancellor rounded it in 1553 while attempting to find a sea route through the Northeast Passage. Helnes Lighthouse is located at the entrance to the Porsangafjorden.
Thank you for that info. Alright, let's go and plan for our next leg. Should be a 114.4. We have a VOR on our next destination. Nice. 114.4. Bit too far from it still, but once we get airborne, we should be able to capture it. It also has, I think, an ILS. Let's see. Let's have a look at Navigraph here. So the next airport is Echo November November Alpha. Do you have charts? Yes, you do. ENA. Laxel Banak. I have no idea how to pronounce these things. Okay, let's see. Taxi. Runway 16 and 34. With our fake weather, with our scenic weather, let's go and use that instead. There should be no worries about which one to use. We can do a runway 16. I think that was an ILS as well. Not really ILS. We do have an ILS for a runway 34. But then with this nice weather, I think we can even do that just visually, right? So we can just use a localizer just for additional guidance, 109.35. And we have an NDB as well, supposedly. Let's double check. The NDB is Porsang. Is it? 275. Papa Golf. 275. Recapturing any of those? No NDB, no VOR1, no VR2. Nothing yet. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Now we do have 60 miles to go, and I think our fuel should be more than plenty, so that's okay. Let's keep that there. Alright, let's do this. Let's make sure that the trims are in the middle. Good. Let's double check before takeoff. The battery switch is on, alternator, strobe lights are on, landing lights, let's turn that on as well. Aux boost pump, let's turn that on to low. Fuel selector, we have the fullest tank. Engine gauges, oil pressure, oil temperature, fuel pressure, fuel flow, EGT. Looks good. Mixture is full rich, prop, RPM lever max RPM. Flaps have been retracted fully. Good. Trims have been set in cabin door. Let's close that window. Alright, good. Hey Mars! How are you, man? Glad you could join today. Close enough, man. Close enough. Good evening. How have you been? Oh, look at that view. For those who just joined us, welcome. We are exploring Norway, the northernmost region of Norway. Well, I guess that's not technically true, because there is what do you call that separate island way to the north, Longyearbyen, but close northernmost in the mainland. Probably not the most accurate, but it has nice sights, nice fjords, and this is care of Skypark Tours. So we have Experience Norway Part 1 in here, right there. Yeah. And the next leg goes southwest, but we'll explore this area first because I think that's where North Cap is supposedly. It's one of my favorite places in ETS2, one of the most scenic ones, and I want to see how it looks here from 2,000 feet up or less. Let's see. Okay, so let's do a back taxi here right to the beginning of the runway. A very interesting look at the runway. It's not even level, it's like undulating up and down. I have no time to put into them. Oh, that's great to hear, man. Well, great to hear that you love the videos, but sorry you don't have enough time to play them. Thank you, Mars. Oh, always appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Glad you made it to the stream today. Did you manage to see the, they call it, the World Tour series yet? So that's a series that I am very excited about recently. Looking forward to discovering the world one city at a time. Yeah, we have I think 4 episodes at the moment. You might enjoy it, I hope. We'll see. Alright, looking good. Let's go to 30 inches here. That looks stable. Go to 40 inches. Looks good. Alright. Keeping it center. Man, without any winds, keeping center line like this is almost automatic. Minimal right rudder compared to a while ago. 70 knots. Pull back onto the yoke. just very gently. Man, look at that mountain in front. Positive rate, not the brakes, clear up. Look at that view. No wonder they had some very specific instructions not to turn at this point, keep this altitude because you have mountains all around the airport. Man, the texturing on that hill, huh? This looks so good, I know, right? Easy building sim, elite dangerous to trucking. Oh, that is the most amazing thing. Thank you. That is great to hear. Beautiful. Right, let's go and find North Cap. 1,000 feet. Turn off the boost pump. Turn off the landing lights. Turn on the automatic gear extension thingy. Pull back on the throttle. 33 inches. RPM going to 2450 for that gentle, steady climb, cruise climb setting. It will actually be pulling back even more pretty soon because we are approaching 2,000 feet. 30 inches on the manifold pressure. Push forward. Pulling back on the RPM. 2,200. Like so. Good. And trim it out. Hello, midnight sun. What time is it locally? Locally, it is 3:23 a.m. guys. 3:23 a.m. And we have this beautiful view in front of us, thanks to the midnight sun. 1 second now, let me have a look at the fuel. Right tank still has enough. Let's go and switch again at the 1 hour marker. North Cap, I think, is over at this point, supposedly. Makes the flight even better. Yeah, I really like it. It has that vintage feel, right? All the steam gauges. Just classic enough, just authentic enough, not filled with the glass panels, which are very functional, very high-tech, but doesn't give you as much feels as the steam gauges and the analog dials and whatnot. That classic. Has Mrs. Clumsy tried to fly? That's a very good question. I think I've been asking her, but she always said no. She's not interested. We even had talks about when you do a discovery flight in real life, get on the plane right next to an instructor, take you around, see how it feels in real life. She doesn't want to join me. She's not a fan. She likes flying, being the passenger while flying, but not doing the flying herself. Let's have a look. North Cap. No, actually, no, this is not North Cap. North Cap is, I think, that island right there, based on what Bush Talk Radio is saying. Let's get nearer. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of flying through here on my own. So this is where I appreciate a lot Skypark. Finding those nice sneaky areas and including them in the app, so we can all tour them and enjoy them together. Looking good. Oh, I haven't leaned yet. 1 second. Let's lean the mixture. My wings level. Let's go level it out. Pulling on the mixture. EGT rising. There's the peak. Go back a bit. There's the peak EGT. Perfect for fuel economy. Ah, beautiful. Let's go and look outside again. Oh my goodness. Okay, man, indeed. Yeah. It's just that some of the landscape is morphing if you look at this close enough. you see them kind of morphing, right? A bit of an immersion breaker, but not a big deal compared to everything else that we're seeing here. Very nice. Now Nordcap should be at the tip here, I believe. That might be it. We actually have some things in there. What are those? I wonder if that's part of the We Love VFR mod. And look at those clouds, right? Oh my goodness.
North Cape is a cape on the northern coast of the island of Nordroy in northern Norway. The cape is in Nordkapp municipality in Troms og Finnmark County, Norway. The European route E69 highway has its northern terminus at North Cape, which makes it the northernmost point in Europe that can be accessed by car and makes the E69 the northernmost public road in Europe.
I lowered the volume.
The plateau is a popular tourist attraction. The cape includes a 307-meter high cliff with a large flat plateau on top, where visitors, weather permitting, can watch the midnight sun and views of the Barents Sea to the north.
Oh,
North
this
Cape
one
Hall,
probably.
a visitor center, was built in 1988 on the plateau. It includes a cafe, restaurant, post office, souvenir shop, a small museum, and video cinema.
Oh, it's a radar dome. Oh yeah, this is definitely part of the We Love VFR package. I think it's region 1, which includes Europe. You see those small radar domes scattered all across the map. Very nice. Yes, that's perfect. That is North Cape indeed. I remember when we went here the first time in Truck Sim. That is amazing. Oh wow. Look here. Beautiful. It's not the place itself that's beautiful though, is it? Like, it's everything that you see from that place. Like, look at that view, guys. Oh my goodness. Phew. Okay, pretty happy with that. Bring it back up. The most northern part. Exactly. Grand Canyon, yes, it is beautifully represented in this sim. And it's in there by default, no need for ortho photos or other plugins. Just, it's there. It's amazing. Looks like the VOR is alive as well. Let's go and head direct for that VOR. That's where we're going, and it died on me. What the heck? Okay, maybe it'll come alive in a bit. We'll see. Yeah, 2,000 feet seems like a nice altitude to be cruising at. Just close enough to get some nice visuals below. Staying away from the clouds, right? Fuel tanks, 10 gallons each side. Should be plenty. Because we are only burning 10 gallons per hour, so that means we'll have around 2 hours. Probably a bit less, even with our current fuel. Pretty good deal to me. Yes, talking about that again. Sorry, Panda, you might have answered a bit. The topic where we were thinking about bridging ATS or ATS2 and flight sim, doing a job continuously. So we go to the airport and see what we could find there. That might be a possibility. I know, right? Yes. Actually, in our season 2, we are close here. I think we're like 1 or 2 cities away from Honningsvag. So I think next episode we will be going to North Cape as well. It's very timely. There it is. The VOR is alive again. Okay, so direct to the airport is actually almost exactly where we're already headed. Nice. Cool. I'll take that. TTS through trucking to an airport, then flying the goods. Yes, exactly. And it can be like, we can think about it like a major airport, like I don't know, Denver, or one of the bigger airports, SeaTac, and then taking a load there and then using a plane, a big plane, maybe the DC-6 to DC-6 cargo variant to haul it somewhere else, or the opposite way around, DC-6 coming from anywhere to Denver and then taking a truck and delivering it to the smaller cities. That actually sounds more realistic. Actually, no. Either way is realistic, so it's up to us. So it can be those big loads, or it can also be a smaller one. To be honest, I'm a bit more excited with that smaller one concept. Like, if we had Alaska in ATS, delivering like from a truck, delivering the load to the like the coast or somewhere, and then in Alaska they have those, how do you call it, those isolated towns, right, where the only way you could reach that town is through a plane. So the truck could deliver something to the border, right at the border where trucks are allowed or can go, and then from there to the actual town we take it by plane. That sounds pretty exciting. It's just that I'm not sure how well represented Alaska is in ATS yet. But maybe we can do that. Maybe there's something similar for British Columbia. Maybe with Pro Mods Canada, maybe we can deliver to a city, and then from that city, I'm not sure if in real life it's delivering goods to, I don't know, some outskirts, some small areas. But that would be interesting. We'll see. But yes, I'm not sure actually where I can go to find things like that, you know, the resources. Like, I tried looking for cargo routes, but cargo routes mostly involve like the big ones like FedEx and the big cargo companies. But when it comes to like small cargo routes, like the ones delivering to the towns in Alaska, where do you find those things? That's going to be an interesting research. ATS has Denver. Oh yeah, there's Phoenix as well. That's true. Oh, and yes, there's somewhere in New Mexico, right? Albuquerque, I think. There's an airport there. I remember seeing a large cargo plane from there. And we can select which airport. Yeah. A boating sim to ship coast to coast. Yeah, that's the goal, right? Because we are playing these different sims. It would be great if we can somehow connect them together, bridge the gap. And right now I'm focusing on truck sim and flight sim, so those are the two I'm focusing on that we're thinking of routes into. We actually don't need pitot heat. Should turn that off. Air France and also in Iberia. Ah, yes, the bigger airports. That's true. Yeah, actually we have a lot more freedom when it comes to the bigger airports, right? That's true, that's true. So we can deliver something to an airport and then take it to a nearby city via truck. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that might actually work. Grand Utopia has the biggest airport. Oh, yeah, that's true. Might be hard to find that in Flight Sim though, huh? Yeah. Be very interesting. Coming up at the 1 hour mark here. Actually, I forgot to pull back on the throttle. Yeah. Should give us more of a fuel economic rate. 10 degrees more or less. Let's see, 2,000 feet pressure altitude, so 2,000. Match that with 10 degrees on the temperature right there. Should give us our airspeed, which is true airspeed, which is around 138 knots. Does that corroborate with the GPS? Yes, 136, 135, close enough. Cool. And we're basically winds are non-existent. Well, we have 5 knots coming from the west. This is the preset. That's okay. We'll make that work. Good. Still hand flying here, loving the feel of the plane. And those small adjustments. Most routes end up being air freight from big airports along the national highways. Having worked for Amazon here in Phoenix, we would regularly send stuff to Las Vegas and receive via trucks from there. And get air freight stuff from further away states like California. Ah. Makes a lot of sense, yeah. Yeah, I've seen an article which says something similar. Yeah, it's very hard to justify when you will fly something, right? Because it's very expensive to fly stuff instead of like hauling them via trucks. So it has to be either like a sensitive equipment, fragile or maybe time-sensitive equipment that needs to get there as soon as possible, or maybe it's the only way. But yeah, for landlocked areas, it's a bit harder to justify when you can reach something by truck. Why would you need to deliver by plane? So I guess that's a bit more limited. So we can find something that goes to a city, an airport, and then we could deliver somewhere nearby. That would be nice. And also, I need your help, guys, to think about the name of that series. Because it seems like we can think of something nice, something witty, something catchy, but I can't quite... I still don't have ideas for it. Take large amount of cargo in a plane, then drop it some airport. And we take the cargo in trucks, make multiple drops at different warehouse. Oh, multi-drop roleplay. I like that. Yes. Even if it's not yet in the game, in Truck Sim, we can always simulate it. That's true. That's true. Up 1 hour mark. Let's double check. Yes, that's perfect. Okay. Switch tanks. Boost pump to low. Switch to the left tank. Let's check. Everything looking good. You know what? I always wondered what would happen if I kind of were switching to the left tank and I suddenly shifted it way back to the cutoff, because this is fuel tanks off. That means we will be cutting off the feed from the engine. Should we try it just for science? Is there any suitable landing area nearby? It's a bit hilly, not really flat surface, and a lot of water. For science. Yeah. That sounds very interesting, Panda. That can actually be a thing. Right. You could also simulate it, because this yoke I'm using right now, this Honeycomb Alpha, this actually came all the way from Canada. From Calgary, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, from Canada, it went to the US, I think to Tennessee, and then it passed through Japan, I think, and then to Guangzhou, China, and then I think it passed through maybe Vietnam or Hong Kong, I'm not sure which one, and then finally to Singapore. So that's something we could also simulate. But yes, lots of air freight routes possible. Steal others' loads like in Truckers MP. Hey Jay, glad you made it. How are you, man? How have you been? Which games are you busying yourself with these days? What have you done to fix MSFS blurry textures? Which blurry textures are you getting? That sounds more like memory issues to me, video memory issues. Might be your GPU is getting limited with the memory, and so it's not able to load the detailed textures anymore. You might try toning down the settings, although hold off on that, wait 1 week, because in 1 week we will be getting the huge performance update from Microsoft, together with the Xbox Series S and X release of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So hold off for 1 week and see, because I think they managed to reduce the memory consumption by around 50%, by half, if I'm remembering this right. So might be you don't need to do anything. That might fix itself. Doing good, man, doing good. Exploring Norway today. It had some very bad weather, very bad live weather a while ago. We had to switch to a more scenic one, but it's all good. Right, so we were wanting to check out boost pump to low, right? And if I turn off the tanks, Oh, that's what happens. If I put it back to left, it kind of fixes itself. Okay, that makes sense. So even if you kind of do something wrong, you can just put it back in. It will right itself right there. Good. Alright, so I'm not that scared of it anymore. Even if I misclick or scroll too much, it should just fix itself on its own. Weather is pretty bad all over the world, most places, yikes. Speaking of bad weather, are you guys familiar with the winds, especially in the Atlantic? Because we have this world tour ongoing, and I was planning from going west, from east to west, right? So from Singapore, making our way to Europe, well, passing through India, passing through the Middle East, going to Europe, and then crossing over to Iceland, maybe making our way to the US. But I've heard many comments saying might not be advisable, especially for a small plane like this. Might be better going from west to east instead. And I've been looking at the winds in windy.com so far, the past few days. That seems to be true, but I'm not sure if that's always true, you know? I've looked at some articles, transatlantic flights. Many people are saying, yeah, it's the west to east is easier, the east to west is harder because of headwinds. Because most of the winds are coming from the west, blowing eastbound. Atlantic right now is hurricane season. Oh, that might be why. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be persisting throughout the year. You know what? Let me show you that. Okay, 1 second. Omni heading on. There, autopilot on. I want to get stable here so that I can alt tab and show you guys what I mean. Alright, so let's see. If you look at winds here and turn on the particle animation, you can see. So we're at the surface. If you go at flight level 100, 10,000 feet, you can see the winds coming from the west blowing to the east, right? So this is the UK, this is Iceland. That's probably a crossing that we'll have to do. Maybe we can even stop by the Faroe Islands, we'll see. But the wind is blowing from west to east. This is where we're at the moment. This is really bad weather right now. Where are we? Somewhere here, no. Somewhere even north, more north here. You can see the winds are very bad in real life, as we've seen a while ago. So that seems to persist all around, yeah. It's always west to east. But I'm not sure if it, in certain parts of the year, if that kind of flows the opposite way. Because we're not getting to this place anytime soon in our world tour. It will take us months probably. Maybe by then it will be December or something. But I'm not sure if the winds are always like this, or if it's a seasonal kind of thing. Based on what I've been reading so far, it seems like it's a consistent thing, but I'm not sure. East Coast hurricane season till November. Yikes. Yeah. If it will change at some point, I'm okay. But if it's always like that, we might have to think of going east instead of west. They carry cars on DHL flights to overseas countries like Europe, and they use trucks to go to different... Oh yeah, that's true, Panda, that's true. That's how they do it. Yeah, I can imagine it. They do the same thing here in Singapore, right? We have an F1 racetrack here. It's part of the, what do you call it, Grand Prix or something? Not familiar with F1. But yeah, we do have F1 here every September, before the pandemic, at least. That's probably how they do it. They fly those cars, and then they use a specialized truck to deliver them to the actual venues. Truck and trailer F1 skins for F1 teams. Oh, can we make a fictional one for Clumsy? Clumsy racing, Clumsy trucking. That might work. That can be a thing. So for those who just joined us, welcome. We are currently discussing about bridging the gap between the two simulators, Truck Sim and Flight Sim. Finally doing a trip that picks from one place to the next, and then change simulators, pick it from that place, go somewhere. Make it a continuous thing. Because there are lots of overlaps in the places that exist in both sims. And the fidelity of the airplanes, of the aircraft in Flight Simulator is getting better and better. And we have such nice cargo planes now in the sim. So that can be a thing. And we were even thinking of making it either like a big kind of plane, you know, delivering to major airports, or delivering to outskirts, like islands that are normally out of reach by trucks. You know, like some of the towns in Alaska or something like that. So if you have ideas, let us know. It would be a great experiment. Clumsy racing. Yeah, that can work. I'm sure Baba will be pretty happy with that. Yeah, I know, right? Clumsy logistics. We'll get there somehow. Can that be the tagline? Clumsy logistics. We'll get there somehow. We'll get there one way or another. I don't know, something like that. I'm not the best at marketing, but it would be nice. But I think the challenging thing though, Panda, is we have to do the same thing in Flight Sim. And I'm not sure how to make liveries in Flight Sim, if it's much more complicated or not. But yes, it's a great idea. I'd love that. It definitely changes through the year, but generally follows that west to east headwind. Ah, I see. That might be why they recommended going east instead. Okay, we can work with that. Let me show you. Because in Little Nav Map, so we have that flight plan, right? We have that flight plan for our world tour, this one. And we started off in Singapore and building on it bit by bit, make our way to Malaysia, and the episode that's coming out later will be crossing over to Thailand. We'll be going to Phuket, and we're basically going northbound here. But from here, once we get to this place, the plan is eventually to go to Bangkok, do some city tour. From there is where we need to decide if we're going west, or we're headed east. But before that point, we still have a chance to decide which way we're going, because right now we're headed to the north. But yeah, I think eventually, going east is the wiser choice, passing through here, going through land, crossing that gap. What is that? Is this Alaska? Yeah, that's Alaska, looks like. Then eventually going to the US, and then doing that transatlantic flight eastbound. That might be a more realistic setting, actually. Cool. So let's get back to Norway. One second, Okay, looks good. Where are we? 13 miles. Actually, I should be focusing on where we are. 109.35. Okay, 1 second. Let's go to heading mode here. 109.35. It's a 164 course. Okay, 164. 164 is somewhere like there. If we follow that, actually, yeah, that actually lines us up perfectly. And the chart is saying 4,000 feet. Not really the best approach here. That's fine. We're just using it for additional reference anyway. We can do this visually, supposedly. Okay. So what we can do is just maybe do a touch and go there, and then we can continue on, because the next leg is 45 miles. Yeah, we should have more than enough fuel for that. 1 hour 15. Let's switch tanks here. Right tank looks pretty stable. Good. Hey Johnny, glad you made it today. How have you been, man? Exploring Norway today. Road relief tour, carry relief stuff. That sounds good. That actually sounds good, yes. That would also increase awareness, right? To help people out in need. So it can be like a public service as well. That's a very interesting concept. That's good. But no, yes, we will be using different aircraft. Probably going to be using the DC-6. Because the DC-6 has a cargo variant. It's capable of carrying around 28,000 pounds of cargo. It's going to be a good cargo plane. And it's going to be fun to fly. Yeah, might be a thing. Alaska. Yeah, we can do Alaska with this plane, that's true. Might be too cold. Yeah, we'll have to be very mindful of the temperatures, that's true. But yeah, it should work because I've watched series in YouTube where they fly around Alaska in a 172. Less powerful plane than this one. No anti-ice, but they make it work. But yes, we have to be very mindful of the weather all throughout. I don't have visual of the runway just yet. Should be coming in soon though. Hawaii. Oh yes, that's very nice. Scenic places. Yeah. Alaska sounds very promising to me because I know they have a lot of isolated towns in there. That it would make sense to take a truck somewhere to the main airport or main hub, main warehouse, and then deliver those via small plane. So that is very promising to me. So I would like those kinds of routes personally. Those and the big ones, the relief ones. That's a nice idea. You can fly manually from here. It should be fine. Pretty far away, 11 miles out. Can we do a touch and go? How long is this runway? 9,000 foot runway. Oh my goodness, no problem at all. Yeah, we can do a touch and go. Micronesia too with all small islands. Oh yeah, that's true. That can work. Yeah. Yeah, like Bahamas can be a thing too, right? Lots of YouTubers, real life pilots delivering stuff to the different islands. So many possibilities. Yeah, but that would be a bit, what do you say? It would be harder to connect that to truck sim. So ideally, one part of the leg would touch an area that is currently in truck sim already. So I was thinking if there was something like that, something like Alaska maybe, but in British Columbia. And I'm not sure, how would you research something like that? How would you research if there's like an isolated town somewhere in British Columbia that only has their stuff delivered via plane? Because that would be a perfect candidate, right? Delivering via truck to a nearby main hub and then delivering to that outskirt, that isolated town via plane. That would be cool. No glide slope here. This is just a localizer, so we don't have any vertical guidance. So you can see, even though we have a vertical bar here which guides us laterally, if we need to go right or left, the horizontal bar which guides us vertically has barber poles in there, which means there is no signal. That is because it is a localizer only, no glide slope. So the descent, it's up to us. One is World Tour, other is Roll Bay. Ah, you were talking about the World Tour. Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, we can put it on the list. Yes. If the route passes through those islands, that would be a great, promising thing. I think over in, I'm not sure if we have those kinds of things near Japan, near Taiwan. I saw lots of islands there, but I know nothing about them. We'll have to study that. Okay. I'll have to start descending here. Pulling back on the throttle so we can slow down. There we go. That should be good. Let's disable the automatic landing gear functionality. Lower our landing gear. Okay, so a gumps check. Gas. Right tank. Yes, that's the fuller tank. Undercarriage, we have 3 greens. Mixture full or low enough that we can go full mixture. Start descending, start slowing down. 110 knots, we should be able to deploy first notch of flaps, help us slow down. Let's go second notch here. Looking good. Isn't that a scenic spot? Goodness, this airport is beautiful. Perfect location. Yeah, we have a world tour ongoing already. We are at episode 4. Yes, that sounds like a plan. I think we'll be heading eastbound to be on the safe side, so that we won't have to battle those winds in the Atlantic. It's good. I am super excited, Mars. I'm not sure if you've been here during that time. I had a period, like a month or so, where I was flying nothing but helicopters. And even without official support yet, absolutely got hooked to them. So I'm hoping for more helicopters in the sim, better support officially. And yes, I will definitely be going all in then when that happens. Too low here, my bad. Not the most stable approach. Let's go and make that proper. There we go, getting back on the profile. For those who are kind of new into aviation, those lights in front of us, those red and white lights, those are called PAPI lights. Forgot what they mean. But yeah, that gives us an indication if we are too high or too low with regard to the ideal trajectory of descent. So what you want to see is like this, 2 white and 2 red. That means you are just right on the glide slope, on the profile. If you see too many reds, it means you're too low. If you see too many whites, that means you're too high. And the way it's done is these guys have like an angle to them. So they emit like a, I think they always emit light, but they have some lenses or something that are angled so that depending on which angle you're looking at them from, they're emitting a different kind of light, a different color. Very interesting concept there. Very nice and practical. Runway 16, looking good right there. Steady descent. And let's just even it out. We have a pretty long runway. We'll do a touch and go here. Try to butter it as much as possible. There we go. Looking good. Going flaps up. Let's push that in. Not sure what the trim situation is like, but we'll get it out. And off we go again. Did it actually? 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. This is probably not what you want to do, ideally. Why? Because for some reason Skypark did not consider that we have landed here. There we go, now it does. Very interesting. Huge delay there. Okay, fine. Rejected takeoff. Okay, let's get back on the runway. Should be okay to take off from the opposite side. Should be fine. Precision approach path indicator. Fancy. Thank you, Johnny. So I'm flying around BC. Yes. British Columbia. One of the most scenic places in the world, I would say. So yes, I hope to be able to find some towns that we can go to. Feel good? Yeah, should be good. 10 gallons each side. Should be around 2 hours of time on the air, more or less. Is that a twin? Okay, man. Yes, that's a twin. Hey! We have a twin right here. Copycat. Can go towards west if you use bigger aircrafts. Well, the winds get stronger as you go higher. So mostly they're still coming from the west from what I've seen. And yeah, ideally I wouldn't want to switch aircrafts, you know, just to keep it realistic. The world tour where we have a small aircraft and we're traveling. At some point, if there's something that's really great, an aircraft that's great, we can switch. And we can role play that someone sold us this plane, traded for the plane we had. But I would want it to be like a bit more like continuous in nature, just for the role playing. Yeah, that could be a thing. So I'm getting very scared about going westbound given those winds in this small plane. Very scary. I've had a commenter, I forgot his name. Oh crap. Yeah, he went from east to west, crossing the Atlantic. But he had a CJ4, a jet, which could withstand those headwinds. So he might have gone slower, but the plane was still more than capable of doing that leg. Good, looking good. 70 knots. There we go. Still have a bit of runway in front, so let's not retract the landing gear yet. Hey Bear, hey Juan. Glad you guys made it to the stream. How are you doing? Tap the brakes, gear up. Gear up. Gear up. Wrong button. There you go. I thought I broke something. Nice. Pitch to 100 knots. Ah, Turbo Pipers. Awesome. Congrats, man. It's an amazing purchase. Sure, go ahead. I'll do my best to answer. Now, do we have a VOR? Yes, we do. 112.4 at the next airport. He's close to it. Close enough. There it is. That's the direction we should be going. Okay. Forgot my lights, didn't I? Crap. Okay, it's fine. Actually, I forgot a lot of things with that chip. Very bad. Alright. Climb to 2000, same banana. And we'll be cruising at 2000. The honeycomb is amazing, man. Oh my goodness. Feels like a different thing altogether versus the previous yoke I had. That's worth the investment. It actually feels like a proper plane. Finishing Idaho Potato event. You know what? I haven't done it. I've only done one job there so far. I didn't change my props. So I still have 6 more jobs to go. In that mixture. Get back to you guys in a bit, in a second. We just stabilize here. 2-part question. What is the yellow blinking light? Ah, yes, I just did it. Let me show you. The yellow blinking light is a... So the Piper arrow has a... I'm not sure exactly what the official term is, but let's look for it in the manual. It's an automatic landing gear mechanism. You know what? That's a very good point. Let's go ahead and experiment with that. There. But yes, you can turn it off using this knob right here. So this red thing, you can see emergency door, emergency down rather. So when the default position is that way, it's up, and that's blinking. That means that the feature is off. That's why it warns you, hey, the gear emergency thing, the emergency down thing, is off, and you want that off during takeoff. But when you're in cruise, you want to turn it on, so you want to push it forward, and that turns off the light. But yes, we will test it if it really works. Let's test it here. That's a good experiment. It's off. Thank the gods. That irritated me for so long as well. That irritated me for so long. I didn't know what it was. But yes, the manual is very detailed. It's hard to find some stuff, but once you do find them, it does explain that. 1 second, let's try and find it. Okay. 1 second, huh? Alright, let's do this. Operations manual. So let's see. Landing gear. Yeah, this one. The emergency gear lever can also be used to override automatic gear extension system. 1 second, huh? No. That's the lever itself, yeah. Let me just double check that we're not going to hit something. Okay, good. For emergency gear extension, the emergency gear lever located between the front seats to the left of the flap handle, that's exactly what we're looking for, right? To the left of the flap handle, that's this guy, must be in the down position to manually release hydraulic pressure and permit the gear to free fall. The nose gear is spring assisted. The aircraft is fitted with automatic gear extension system. That's the official term, automatic gear extension system. That automatically extends the landing gear when engine power is reduced with the airspeed at or below 87 knots. The system is triggered by differential air pressure sensed by the static source mast on the left side of the fuselage. The emergency gear lever, that thing that we just pushed forward, can also be used to override the automatic gear extension system. So there are 3 positions. If it's up, then it's overridden. That's when it blinks, right? When it's mid, that's the one we did, then it's enabled. That's why it's not blinking anymore, right? Landing gear will automatically extend when power is reduced below 14 inches of manifold pressure and airspeed drops below 87. So we can test that. You can go below 14 inches and below 87 knots. And you can push it down in case you have it stuck. You can push it down when you're below 87 knots. But normally you would only be fiddling with up and mid here. Down I've never tried before. Because I think when you do that, you probably won't be able to retract your gear anymore. That's only for emergencies when your gear won't deploy. I don't have the Bravo, unfortunately. You mean the trim wheel? Yeah, I have not seen it yet. Is the trim wheel an axis or are they buttons? 2 buttons? Because yeah, ideally you would want to control the trim this way, right? Using the wheel, controlling that trim that way, that would be ideal. They are buttons. Then if the trim wheel is technically a button, you can assign trim up and trim down ideally. So if you, 1 second, let's go there. Oh, it's so quiet. Let's play some music. If you go to, what setting is that? Let's see. Maybe you can try this one, the elevator trim down, nose down, and the elevator trim up. Assign that to each of the, when you're moving the wheel. See if that works already. That might be enough. I'm not sure if there's a trim wheel here. Yeah, there is a trim. elevator trim axis. If it's an axis, then you can assign it here. Yeah, but if those are buttons, I think it's better you assign it to the trim down and trim up. That should work. Finishing 1 second. Alright, there you go. I'm going to get this game sometime. No, don't worry about it. There is a tutorial in the sim itself. It teaches you step by step how to fly a plane. It's the perfect way to get started. So if your main worry is you don't know how, don't worry about it. You will learn. The sim will teach you. I think the main worry is, if your PC can play it. But by next week, when the update comes out, that should work. That should be a bit easier because they've optimized the sim immensely. Alright, let's test it, okay? Let's test it. So I will pull back on the throttle below 14 inches of manifold pressure. So let's say, yeah, the landing gear horn will also sound. That makes sense. Because it will complain, why are you putting the throttle too low and you're not extending the landing gear. So bear with me guys, okay? Bear with me. This is for science. So below 14 inches and I'm pulling up, trimming up so that we are bleeding off airspeed in here. When we get to 87, the landing gear should deploy automatically. Let's see. See? Deployed on its own. It's working. That automatic gear extension feature. That's what you turn on in there. So when it's not blinking, that is working. So in case you forget to push it up, then it works. Oh, it even retracts on its own. Does it really? That's interesting. Cool. Yeah, and by next week when it comes out for the Xbox Series S and X, there would be additional tutorials, I believe, from what has been said. So the goal is to really get everybody in, you know, even if you know nothing about aviation, about anything about flight simming, that you just try it and you learn it and see if it's something that you like. But the sim is there to teach you from the beginning. Arrow will experience very rough but quite intermittent engine operation in very cold weather. Yikes. Yeah, I think that's when the alternate air would kick in. You would need to turn it on in some emergency situations, but I don't quite know yet which ones. Right. Yeah, that's cool to see. The automatic gear extension feature is working properly. Exactly as the manual indicates. Nice. But yeah, you would want that to be turned off during takeoff and landing, just to avoid any possible complications in there. Maybe sometimes it wouldn't retract. Maybe sometimes it would deploy too early. Just basically want to remove that kind of risk automation in there. Let's go lower to 2,000 feet. Let me go back to manual and flying so we can feel it better. Yeah, this is where the honeycomb shines, Jay. Just feels so good. It almost feels like I'm flying a real aircraft. I wouldn't know how that feels yet, but this is much closer how I imagine it to be versus my older yoke. Continue descending to 2,000. Is getting a bit closer to the ground there, so 2,000 might not be the most ideal thing. Also, let me double check the fuel. We're a bit off there. Yeah, let's switch. Looking good. Right. It even simulates this properly. You know, let's do something again for science, guys. What do you think will happen if I turn off the batteries? Oh, there's the battery switch right there, right? What would happen if I turn off the batteries? I saw Fabio testing this out the other day. It's amazing. It's amazing. Where can you find my setup? Which setup are you referring one? My hardware stuff or the settings I use? The graphic settings and whatnot. Electrical failure. The hardware setup, you could use that, the Amazon Gear. The panel should be below if you're using desktop. If you're on mobile, I think it should be available as well. But yes, there is an Amazon Gear thingy in there. Shows you all the peripherals I'm using. Even the actual hardware components I have in my PC. But yes, thanks Jay. For the settings, the mods list, go to the FS 2020 tab. And if you're wondering about graphics settings in particular, under the miscellaneous section, I think, there is an item there about graphics settings. Someone made a fully comprehensive analysis on what each graphics settings does. If it impacts CPU, if it impacts GPU, or if it impacts both, and how does it change the quality. So from there, you'll be able to decide and tweak on your own which makes more sense for you. So depending on your system, you can fine-tune it. Yoke, yes, it's the Amazon Gear, yes. Let me know if you're having trouble finding the Amazon Gear thing. There you go. Thanks, Juan. So let's test it. Let's test it. I actually haven't tested that in Airborne yet. I might regret this. Let's see if there's a suitable landing area. 1 second, it's very hilly. Maybe let's plan for it properly. Oh my goodness, that view. That view. Can never get tired of this sim. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's very hilly here. We could probably land on water, but the sim doesn't like that. We'll get a black screen because I have failures enabled. That one, that part. Can we glide all the way there? Yeah, we'll find something. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but okay, let's see. Let me trim properly first here. Get back to 2,000 feet. That's the plan, Bear. Yes, that's the plan. Initially, I just got something that is small, that is not bulky. So I got the Logitech Quadrant. Very nice, but it feels like a toy. Yeah, it works well, but it feels like a toy. It doesn't feel premium like the Honeycomb. And I'm assuming the Bravo feels like the Alpha as well in terms of the premium feel. And if it does, then yes, it's something that I'll definitely plan on getting. It's just that the stocks for the Bravo is even lower than the Alpha. Last time I checked, Alpha had a few stocks in quantity, the Bravo did not. Alright, we're at 2,000 feet. Let's go and test what happens when you turn off the batteries. One second. Alright, there you go. Let's do this. Wish us luck. Still working, guys. Still flying, engine still working. Right? How cool is that? I don't know the hardware, the technical details, but somehow the electricity is separate from the spark plugs, the engine turning, because we have magnetos here. Yeah, still igniting the engine. So it's still working even without electricity. That is why in the checklist, the before takeoff checklist, you have a battery switch and alternator on. Because your engine might be running, but you might not know. You might have accidentally switched off the batteries. So it's pretty cool how that is all simulated. Witchcraft, I know, right? And if we turn off the magnetos, even with electricity on, but if we turn off the magnetos, that's when the engine dies. Because you remove the sparks. And you bring it back, the engine comes back alive. It's amazing. It is amazing how that's simulated. Only thing is, I think I might have broken it somehow. 1 second. There it is. Okay. The yoke wasn't reacting a while ago. Yeah, in a car, I'm not sure if it would work. In a car, if the batteries die, will your engine still keep on running? I think those two are kind of related in a car. You'll have to read it. Magnetos are powered by a generator that rotates using engine power. Ah, there you go, Rook, there you go. That's why even if you turn off electricity, it still powers itself basically because the engine is on. So it's like powering itself in a way. Awesome stuff. That is pretty cool. Goodness. 11 miles away from the VOR, okay. We have a runway 22. Do we have a localizer in there? We do. .110.7, okay. Let's see. 110.7. I'm assuming it's within range already. We're pretty close. There it is. 225 on the course. Oh, that's a pretty high hill right there. Let's maybe just try and avoid that bit right here. 225 should be somewhere. 225 should be somewhere there, I think. Can still do a cold start. Yes, a car will run. Oh, so it's the same thing. Yeah, super cool. Unless it's a Tesla. Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. Car will run if the power generator by the alternator can get through the battery. Ah. I see, I see. So it depends on how all of that is wired, huh? Interesting. Cool stuff. But yeah, it's nice to see that level of detail simulated. This is what makes it so immersive for me, right? Performing everything by the book, normal procedures is great and it's well simulated, but the emergencies, the weird things, also being programmed, that's something else entirely. And it's an amazing experience. Right, let's see. We have an NDB here, just so I know where we are. It's a bit offset though. It's a bit offset. Okay, so I'm 90 degrees perpendicular. I'm perpendicular to the runway heading. So I'm not sure exactly where it is. So once it starts moving, I'll just start turning. Start descending here. Runway airport elevation is 262 feet. Hit our landing gear. Turn off the automatic gear extension. Right? And then we lower the landing gear. Try the sim in VR. They say it's the most immersive experience ever. I don't have a VR set though. Not very friendly for content creation. But for personal consumption, I think it's a great option. Just fix your blurry issue. Ah, was on by default in the NVIDIA control panel. Which setting was that? It's interesting find. Good catch. You might have that backwards. A failing alternator reduces performance. So one of those is failing and you're getting limited performance on your aircraft. I think that's the airport right beyond this hill. So you might have to circle around here more. Might have to start descending as well. So flaps in. Still don't see it. Oh, is it right in front of us? Is it this one? Maybe. Oh. Okay, it's not there. It's here. Okay. Then we can join here on like an downwind leg, right? No problem, no problem. You have the gear down. Let's do a gumps check. Fuel left tank looks good. Undercarriage we have 3 greens, mixture. Full forward props, full forward switches. Landing lights. Fuel boost pump. Looking good. It's kind of like join like a left base here rather. Should be good. Texture filtering LOD. Set it to allow and it fixed the issue. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've fiddled with that setting before. Is that the default setting that you changed? Or did you somehow change it before and you moved it back to default? Track IR, I cannot recommend it enough. Yes. It's amazing. Gives you that full fidelity of a monitor and gives you that head tracking capability that a VR gives. It's a bit limited in that sense, but still, it's great. Too high here. I think we can bleed it off. Need to go full flaps, forward slip, so right rudder, left aileron, try and lose all of that altitude. We are pretty high here. There it is. That's a very sharp descent. Okay, and as we get closer, we let go of the rudder, we center the aileron back. All at idle, all at idle. There you go, okay. And we even that out to something like so. Oh, bouncy, sorry about that. Alright. Come on, recognize it, thank you, Hammerfest. Oh, 1 second, I should actually stop here because we might need to refuel, huh? Yeah, we might need to refuel. And let's enjoy this place a bit, because it's good. Yeah, good investment. Go around. Good. Where is the airport? Oh, it's just only one ramp going there, so we have to actually back taxi our way. That's fine. Oh, there's even like a turnaround point here. Nice. It's cool for the bigger planes, I guess. Cool. Yeah, same here, Bear. Same here. For the world tour, I'm using the Turbo Arrow 3. But for other extracurricular activities, I'm going with the Arrow 4, just to differentiate them. What time is it? Local. 4:30 a.m. Amazing. It's amazing. You're doing an Arrow 3 World Tour too. Oh, nice. Are you headed east or west? Not sure if you were here already during that point when I was asking. So I've gotten recommendations not to go west. Flying a leg right now. Nice. Side mission. Yes, that's true. This is a side mission. Headed west. Yeah, I've been advised not to head west because I might have trouble crossing the Atlantic in this small plane westbound. So I'm having reservations if I want to continue west. It will take a while before I get there, but I'm still thinking about it. Oh look, there's a marshaller in there. Cool. that guy actually working? Well, this is perfect because I actually need fuel. So we can stop by here maybe. And ignore him. Stop by here and get some fuel. Okay. Will this work? I hope my wing doesn't hit there. Cutting it close. There we go. The essence of time, I won't be cutting off the engine anymore. Might regret this. That's a pretty even load on the fuel, right? 24 liters on the left, 22 on the right. Nice, not too bad. There you go. No turning back. Good luck, man. Good luck. Tell us about it. Looking forward to your stories. Good. Where's the next leg? Going to Alta. Going southwest. There is a VOR right at the airport. That's perfect. That is 117.4. Okay. Not tracking it yet, that's okay. You will soon enough. And then it's also tracked the ILS. No, it's a localizer, I think. 108.9. It's nice though that most of the airports here, even if they're so small, they all have localizers. I guess it's pretty much a necessity because of how violent the weather can become around these parts. Okay, good. Honeycomb had digital. No, it doesn't have a digital display. It has an LED backlight and lots of switches, but no actual display on it, which is not really an issue for me. I don't look at my yoke anyway. Good. to Charlie Delta. Yes, perfect. I like how nice the taxiways are marked. Actually, how everything is marked up. Trims. Here on the right and left. Yeah, I think the only one that has that normally is the, what is it, the Logitech, yeah, I think. Logitech Cytec yoke, I think has that. Even this guy, the runway is uphill. Oh my goodness. 70 knots. Oof. Bit off. Gear up. Awesome. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, this view. I wonder if my performance will improve on this plane by next week. So I think much of the performance is derived from the glass cockpits optimization. I'm not sure if in such an aircraft we will get benefits of it as well. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Now I think this time we'll be cruising at 4,000. I think we have a few more obstacles on the way on this leg. Looking good. 104 knots. Continue climbing such a way. Wonderful takeoff. Thank you. Thanks for the follow, Bear. Alright. Catch you next time, man. Good luck with the tour. Looking forward to your stories. Hey Pyro, good morning. Thank you for joining. It's not. It's from Just Flight. It's the Piper Turbo Arrow. Highly recommend it. It's my go-to plane for aviation. VOR is alive. Let's go in tune. Get that proper course direct to the VOR. There it is. And let's follow that course. We might get into the clouds though, but that's okay. These should be very chill clouds. Very scenic clouds. Good. So let's go and switch the tanks here just so we have an even time. 2 o'clock, 2 hours. So at 2 hours 15, we'll switch to the left tank. Fuel flow, fuel pressure looks good. Good. Continue that climb. Based on the timing here, we'll be there in 22 minutes, 21 minutes, but we're still climbing. Once we get on cruise, we should pick up some speed, and that should lessen up quite a bit. So I think we will arrive there at the airport just in time. There looks to be a waypoint I missed though. Stabbursdalen National Park. Interesting. Let me see what Bush Talk Radio is saying about that. So, I think over here. Why didn't it play? Hammerfest, we were there, right?
Hammerfest is a municipality in Troms og Finnmark County, Norway. Hammerfest is the northernmost town in the world with more than 10,000 inhabitants. The administrative center of the municipality is the town of Hammerfest. Some of the main villages in the municipality include Reikfjord, Forsol, Onsebybog, Akarfjord I Koloya, Akarfjord I Soraya, and Karham. The 2,693 square kilometer municipality is the 19th largest by area out of the 356 municipalities in Norway.
Hope so to one.
Hammerfest is the 98th most populous municipality in Norway with a population of 11,448. The municipality's population density is 4.5 inhabitants per
second,
square
guys,
kilometer.
getting thrown by the clouds here.
Increased by 6.5% over the
IMC.
last decade. The municipality encompasses
Sorry, Pyro,
parts
didn't
of
get that
3
question.
islands, Kulai,
Golden
Sandal,
Viper.
and Seyland. Other small islands such as Aja, Lille Kamoya and Kamoya are also located here. Most of the area municipality does not
Okay,
have
let's
a
go
road
back on the
connection with the rest of
RPM.
Norway.
2200.
Only Island is connected via the Kolsund Bridge.
Lean the mixture. Lean of. Actually, we are looking for the peak EGT. There's the peak. There it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. I like this. Okay, so let's align the heading so we can go to autopilot and go out and take some photos. Like so. Heading AP on. Are we trimmed enough? We should be trimmed enough. Yeah, altitude. Good. Now we can go out and enjoy. Look at that view. It's a Piper Arrow. Piper Turbo Arrow. Let me type it for you. If you go to exclamation point mods, exclamation mod, let me type it for you. There you go. Yeah, if you look at the link, go to FS 2020 tab. You should see some links there. You can check out if you want to purchase the Turbo Arrow. This is by Just Flight. Okay, man. I know, right? Best tail number ever. Gives you all the positive vibes. And this place is amazing. You guys want to see how it looks with live weather? Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. You guys ready? Here we go. That's how it looks in live weather. Nope. For those who just joined, thanks and welcome to the stream. Feel free to join and check out the YouTube channel as well, link down there by Nightbot, where we can continue the fun, more videos, and where we have our World Tour series ongoing as well. Should have bro. Oh yeah, okay bro. That would be perfect, huh? And that looks good. Looking good so far. Everything okay? Let's do some checks. Okay, bro. Yeah. Thanks for following, Pyro. Appreciate that. Cruise. Mixture is lean. The elevator trim is set. Kind of. Aux fuel pump is off. Switch tanks periodically. Yeah. No problem there. Let's get it back to 4,000 feet though. Let's go and tune into the VOR. So now that we are going faster, actually let's wait. So you have to be headed straight towards the VOR or away from the VOR to get an accurate reading. Because this thing right here, it measures your distance from the VOR, and it from there, based on the tick from one time to the next, it then derives what your speed is and how long it will take you to get there. That if you're traveling the VOR in parallel, you're not headed straight for it, then the distance from the VOR will not be exact, right? So the speed that you will get from it will be inaccurate as well, and the minutes will also be inaccurate. So this reading, the speed in the minutes, will only be accurate if you're headed straight towards the VOR or straight away from it. So let's go and align first before I take a reading from it. Oh, looks like the ILS is alive as well. The localizer just came alive there. Nav2. We can actually start tuning that. What's the course? 111 course. Okay. And it's a elevation of the airport is basically sea level, 10 feet. Okay. Let's keep that there. Get a bit closer, then we'll see. Maybe we can overfly the airport for a bit. And we can just do a visual approach. We'll just join the traffic pattern or whatnot. Runway 29er actually might be perfect for us. So we can cross the airport midfield and then turn left. Something along those lines. And even the way the clouds pass through like that just looks so real. Except for that changing mountain mesh there. But yeah, this view. Such a beautiful sight. Can't wait till next week, really. Let's see how it will change the experience. Hopefully all for the better, but hopefully our ever so trusty beta testers, because there has been beta testing now these days. Microsoft has learned and is now doing proper closed beta testing before they release each major update. And this beta testing has been happening for quite a few weeks, so hopefully they manage to capture all those game-breaking bugs, if any, and hopefully by the time the actual patch releases next week, it's going to be cool. Oh, that's a view. Let's take a photo again there. The lighting is just so natural. Right. I have both, but this one in particular is the turbo. The turbo has a much better performance in higher altitudes because it has a turbocharger So it is able to suck in more air, which is needed for higher altitudes when the air gets less dense. If you're planning to fly, actually I think Just Flight has a bundle that if you buy both, you get a discount. That might be a good thing to explore as well. But yeah, for me personally, the turbo is the most versatile. It's a bit harder to fly because you cannot if you push forward on the throttle too much, like if I'm doing this, you see that yellow light there? That means we're over boosting. That's a bad sign. So you have to be very controlled with your throttle, because if you over boost for like more than 30 seconds or so, you start getting engine damage to the point that it actually will fail your engine at some point. With a turbo arrow, that can happen. With a normal aspirated arrow, that's not a thing. You can just go full throttle and you wouldn't risk over boosting. There's no such thing. So it's simpler to fly the normal arrow. But yes, you are a bit limited when it comes to the higher altitudes. The performance starts to degrade as you get higher. What sort of range? Oh, I think around 800 nautical miles, more or less. I don't know the exact number, but it should be pretty high. Let's see if we can find something along those lines here. There is a manual as well, so let's see if there is something. Fuel system. Oh, I think this will do better on the other one. Let's see. The ODM, operating data manual, might have more of that. Let's see. So you have charts here. So this is included when you buy the plane. Range. That one, okay. So depending on the setting you're using, depending on the outside air temperature, you'll have around 800 nautical miles. If you're pushing it, around 850 maybe. So somewhere around that point. Yeah, so far based on the charts, it's pretty accurate with the actual aircraft performance. Very nicely modeled. Oh my goodness, that looks beautiful. Man. Super scenic look. Let's get one more shot here. Sure thing. Enjoy. The center track IR here. So let's see. I think it's better if I do a right traffic. I join the right traffic pattern, but let's double check if there is any indication for it. Alta. Okay, there it is. Limit of maneuvering area over here. After that, you have to get clearance to move around. Okay, that's fine. Wind shear turbulence when your current final runway 11. Severe turbulence. Okay. Does it say which traffic pattern they're using? Oh, this one. Yeah. Legend. Circling lights. Right-hand circuit. Oh, that's pretty cool. So oh, that's interesting. Look at this. So the approach lights for runway 29 are actually curving. So it kind of leads you onto the runway, a right-hand circuit. So let's follow that. Although I doubt that this is really represented in the sim. I think in the sim, if there are ever approach lights, it will be straight. I don't think that automatic thing is there by default, but that's pretty cool. Okay, but let's see. Should be 8 miles from it. Should start about descending soon. Actually, we should start descending now already.
Let's turn off autopilot in here. Pull back on the power. Pull up to maintain that altitude so we bleed off some airspeed. Let me turn off the automatic gear extension. See that blinking light? Gear going down. Might be a bit too far, but the airport I think is there. Yes. Okay, cool. Good. Might have been a bit too early to deploy those gears, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Even the sounds you hear are different when you have the gears deployed. Quite nice. You hear more of that outside vibe. 2 hour 15, let's switch tanks. Left. Everything looks stable. Good. Okay, so let's see if that traffic pattern, that right-hand circuit approach lights, if those are there. Do we see approach lights at all? Don't see them, to be honest. Insect, sorry. Wrong button. Looking good. There's the runway. So the chart is saying there should be approach lights. I'm guessing in real life the approach lights are kind of curved like that to guide you on that right traffic pattern. Don't see anything here. Okay, that's fine. We'll make it work. Good. Keep descending at 2,500. Oh, there's someone taking off. Cool. Why can I not see any of his? I can only see his right nav light and strobes. Cool stuff. Hey there, friend. First sign of civilization. Alright, start turning to the left here. Alright, let's pull back, trim it out. Ooh, niner. Let's get that so that we have a bit of guidance. Where's the runway? It's at 29. I think I read there 30. Interesting. Okay. Let's get one notch of flaps here. Start turning right. Let's do a gumps check. Gas, we just set that. Undercarriage, we have 3 greens. Mixture full. Drop RPM forward. Switches as well. Landing lights, fuel boost pump. Looking good. Turn base. Whoop. Third sharper. Always too high. Always too high. Might have to go around. Well, let's see. Still have a bit of chance here. Going full flaps. Oh, it's fine. We can do it. No problem. Yeah, look at the approach lights. They're straight. In real life, they should be bent to the right. go. Shallow it down. All right. There it is. Oh, where is the ramp? There you go. Cool. Ramp is off to the side here. A abstract. Thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. It was a holiday yesterday. Yeah. For what do you call it? Eid al-Adha. Is that the holiday? I think it's a Muslim holiday. In India, do you have it as well? I think in certain parts. From what I talked with some of my colleagues. Landing lights. Thank you. It is good enough. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. Good. Alright. Taxi and call it a stream. Oh, that's perfect timing. Let's see if we have a marshaller. If we're lucky enough to have a marshaller. It's an optional holiday. Ooh, what does that mean? Means you can take the holiday off or not? Why would you not take it? Bro. Is that the marshaller? Yeah, it looks like. Patiently waiting for us. Okay, let's start turning off the electronics here. There's the guy. Went over a bit. Hurry. Oh, there, okay. What? Weird alignment, but okay. Not sure I want to follow him with weird instructions. Okay, there you go. Alright. Good. Okay, I think we have everything off. Yes. Yeah, looks good. Alright. Shut down the engine. Magneto's off. Strobes off. And let's turn off the... And before I turn off the battery, let's go and hang out there. Awesome stuff, guys. Ah, I see. I see. Depends if you're Muslim. Alright. Well, anyway, thank you guys for joining. Had a scenic time. Hope you guys enjoyed as well. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the world tour later. And in the meantime, clumsy flying and stay safe. Okay? Turn off the fuel tanks there. And there you go. The infamous logbook making an appearance. 2 hours flight time, I'll take that. We're almost at 400 hours, guys. Have a good one. Stay safe. Clumsy flying, catch you on Friday for some trucking. Thanks and bye-bye. Thanks, Jay. Have a great week too. Catch you soon. Bye.